All right, welcome to the ASL Season 12 Awards video. I am joined today by Peach
Hello.
and Malone.
Hey.
These two, along with Blake, who wasn't able to make it to our video today, made up your ASL Season 12 Awards Committee. They did all the background work, they did all the slide creating, they did everything. And so they have joined to help us knock out this video. It's about halftime in the Super Bowl now, so we're going to try to keep this pretty quick, but I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the slideshow. A lot of work went into this, and a lot of votes went into this. How many total votes did we get, Brandon?
We got 16 total votes on the Google form.
16 total votes, which is pretty good. That's a high for us in the past several seasons. So let's get right into it. The first slide, the first voting page was for Coach of the Season, right? And we had myself, Lille, Crispy Panda, and Malone up for Coach of the Season, and the winner of that was Malone. Little hand clap there, 11-2 plus 16. Malone captured the wide majority of the votes and had a great season with Mons Electric Gouge, Tapu Lele, and Mega Manatric. Really awesome team synergy and kind of a fantasy season for Malone, right? Who's never reached these kind of heights before. Well deserving of this Coach of the Season award.
All right, and on to most improved coach. Malone, the award receiver. You want to say anything or?
I'll say this just to get it out of the way because I want to mention this, and to thank you for everyone who voted it for me. I'm not sure how much I really deserved it. I think me being Malone played a big part in the award, but thank you regardless.
Fair enough.
All right. So moving on to the next award, no time to waste. We have most improved coach. Now this was quite an interesting category. There are a lot of things that went into this. First off, we have Dravos here, who had like a rocky start to his season. If I recall, and Malone, Brad, you can correct me on this. He was like 1-4 or like 0-4
1
or
and
something like
6.
that.
1 and
One
6.
and one
Yeah.
and six. Not anyone's like ideal start to a season. Ended up ending off around 7-6, like plus 17 differential. He just had a 6-game win streak off of that and really just turned it around. So that earned him a spot here. Ilkin and Lille, they were mostly just like, Lille, in fact, was just a few differential points over last season. Ilkin actually made playoffs this season, which he just narrowly missed last season. And of course, Malone actually missed playoffs for 5 straight seasons. And of course, having his best season ever. I'm pretty sure the top seed as well. And of course, the winner, of course, is Malone because, let's face it, he had the most improvement out of everyone, and he even just won this category by a landslide. And also changed his logo too. I feel like that may have had something to do with it, maybe not. And just a few of his other mons featured here, and Ferne being one of his like all-star players, just every game getting kills and put in work as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Malone had an awesome season, is super deserving of most improved coach. And really in a way that we've never seen historically. If you go look at the history of the ASL, we've never seen a coach see that kind of limited success followed with a season like this. This is unparalleled, and I'm really excited to see in season 13 what we get next. I'm Malone. I'm not to put the spotlight on you too hard, bud, but the follow-up season, it's gonna be all eyes watching.
That's okay. This is like my 24th most improved award, so I don't even.
But this is the most like drastic improvement I think of any like most improved coach award we've ever seen. Usually, like you see people, and we got like a couple new people right now, like Dirty Logic, Shadow. I know he's not new, but like you see like gradual improvement among like those coaches and many others, like season to season. This was more of like a rocket that just kind of shot straight up for you. So
Absolutely.
something to be proud of.
Malone for hardest team to prep for.
All right, there's a lot of good options I think this year for hardest team to prep for. Um, I mean, like, starting off with Brad, I think I'm pretty sure I voted for Brad. Brad's team is generally very scary. Starting off with the big bad Mega Mawile, and just overall, it's a consistently scary team, while also being pretty unique, which is something you always expect from a Brad team, and he obviously performed well with it. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure I actually voted Ill Kid. I actually don't remember. Ill Kid's team is incredibly scary. He starts off with Megalodios in tier A, and getting both Weavile and Ferrothorn in tier B is like big steal, and it just stays consistent again throughout. Myself, I had a scary team too. Tapu Lele, very scary, and I think, yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's a reason that this is like my first time being nominated for this. And as always, TCP with the stall team. No one likes this team at all. Megavinu, Corviknight, Tapu Fini, just not fun to face. And the team that eventually ended up winning was Ill Kid by a pretty good margin.
Mhm.
I think honestly any team that won this would deserve, but Ill Kid was definitely the my choice.
Yeah, the Megalodios Weavile combination alone is near impossible to deal with from a defensive standpoint. It's almost just an overwhelm it with offense and hope it works out type team. But then he has the Arcanine and the Ferrothorn. It was a real challenge, and that's not even mentioning the Sand Core. So tough team to face, and he made playoffs as a result of that. Good season, but boy, it was a roster to remember. And unlike Malone, I didn't vote for every team on this list, but I believe I did vote for this one.
Yeah, I believe I was the first one to actually nominate Ill Kid, and something I was like noticing as I was, going through getting the sprites for all these and looking at everyone's team. Malone mentioned that like TCP had like a very stall heavy team. Brad had like some offensive threats with like the Mega Mawile. I think Ill Kid actually had like the most balanced out of all these teams, having like super like hard hitters like Weavile, Megalodios, Lando I under Sandstorm, which is crazy, especially since now we have to think about next season. Like it was hard to prep for this season. Next season we have to worry about prepping for that thing with Sheer Force. But he also just had a really strong defensive core. Ferrothorn, Arcanine with like Intimidate, Morning Sun Teleport now, Granbull with Intimidate as well. He had a Dusclops, which was like his only knockoff weak defensive mon, and a Tentacruel as well. Like it was just a really nice balance and things that like seem to give like every coach trouble after week, regardless of whether or not they actually won the match, because we know Ilkid has an unlucky streak. I honestly just think he's one of the best drafters in ASL period.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Arcanine somehow has become like the best psychic type in the format with teleport and the ability to heal, and it's just stupid. But anyway, most creative coach, our nominees are Lille, Malone, Ian, and Static. I believe Static was last year's winner. A lot of creative coaches in the ASL. Really, I think this is one of the hardest categories to nominate for because there are so many players that have their own unique way of approaching the format. But this year, our winner was Lele with his unique team of Carbink, Centiscorch, and a bunch of other mons that don't really matter. So congratulations to Lele on a quality performance this season, making the playoffs, and having a lot of really creative sets that performed well.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Lille is I think he's like one of the few coaches that never ran the same set every week. In fact, I was just talking to him, I think yesterday or day before. I don't remember, but like he was talking about like how one week he had Dragon Dance Steelix. The Carbink wasn't on his roster for long. He actually ended up dropping it, but I still remember week one, like he brought that thing and it had like Stealth Rock, Sandstorm, Trick Room to support the Sandforce Steelix. And like the Latias, for example, I never would have thought to run like fully defense or SPDEF invested Latias with zero speed. And he did that on multiple occasions. Coco, of course, able to run a lot of sets offensive, but he also ran like dual screens and like defog, like Roost. I think it was Rocky Helmet one week
Yeah,
with Roost.
defensive Rocky helmet.
Exactly, yeah. And then a Son of Scorch he picked up like mid-season that ended up being like a fast sweeper. Like he pretty much just took his team and said like, what can I do with these mons? It's never been done before.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say, but he kind of put himself as a coach onto the most difficult to prep for, even if his team isn't, the best or like the most difficult necessarily on paper. He'll make you really think about what he's gonna bring each week.
Yeah, and I just also will say, a sad goodbye to Tapu Koko. It was great to have you with all of those moves, and it's gone now. And that just really breaks my heart. But on to best tier Cmon. Peach?
I do just want to say you said a sad goodbye to Tapu Koko, but not to Lele, who's not going to be coaching with us next
I
season.
thought you were going to say that too.
No.
I was like,
Because here's the difference. Tapu Koko will never have that move pull back. Lille will be back.
fair enough. Fair enough. All right, on to best tier C mon. Tier C's, there were a lot of standout ones this season. Like, if we were to do an honorable mention list, I think it would be like 3 times as many Pokemon you see here, maybe even 4, just because like every team had some really standout tier C's. These are just some of the top ones that we were able to nominate as a committee and everyone voted on. At the top, we have Cobalion from Dirty Logic's team. We have Mega Manetric from Malone's team, Galarian Slowbro from Static's team, and Silvally from Brad's team. And our winner is Mega Manetric. And I don't think we initially decided this on the order, but I'm glad I get to talk about this because there is a mild graphical glitch on the pie chart. On the original survey, I accidentally wrote St. Louis Swablu, and you can see it on the right. So even though it says 13 responses, there are 16 responses. It just doesn't count the ones that voted for the St. Louis Swablus because I changed it after we released it. So it's not even actually that 7% is still a 13 for some reason. So Mega Manetric actually won with about 81% of the votes, according to my calculations. But yeah, Mega Manetric was just really a standout mon. I think everyone was underrating it, including me at the beginning, just because of the no hidden power. It looked like it didn't have a move pool outside of like Flamethrower, Overheat with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt. And Malone proved us wrong, very much so.
It was fun. It was fun to use because you typically have the 3 move slots that are generally going to be the same. You can switch out whichever fire moves you want, and it's fun to experiment with that last move slot with things like laser focus, charge, all that jazz. So I'm glad it made it here.
Yeah, I agree. Mega Manetric had a dream season. It's a great mon. I think it benefited a lot from the support it got around it. There's a lot of really nice mons around it that took up a lot of prep. If you didn't prep for Tapu Lele and you only prep for Manetric, you were probably losing. So it also benefited from the cast that supported it. But on to Tier D with Malone.
Lots of good tier D options. We're starting out with Big Bad Blaziken. Dravo's put in the work with Blaziken, so glad to see it here. Next, we have Gigalith from Ilkid, a huge pickup. I think earlier in the season that put in a lot of work for him. Um, probably TG standout Mon with Golurk getting nominated, and Jellicent getting nominated for myself with just a very solid season. One of my defensive rocks. And the winner by a pretty good margin was Blaziken. And there's not a whole lot else to say just besides that Dravos really put this thing to work offensively, and it was great to see it.
Yeah, I mean it is a really versatile offensive mon, and Dravos intentionally put it in situations to be successful, which is what you hope to see, man. If you can get a 10 kill value out of a D tier mon, you spent your capital wisely, and it worked out for you.
Yeah, exactly. And Dravo, I remember like around like draft day or after draft day, Dravos mentioning like, "Hey, Blaziken's like the mon I really want to use this season." So he pretty much drafted and built his whole team around it. And you can tell it worked out pretty well for him. Like even though like again, early part of his season wasn't so great, made the best of it, like showed what Blaziken was capable of without speed boost, I might add. We have to worry about that thing with speed boost next season, of course. And yeah, I can't complain. Sort of gives me Emvor vibes from a season or two ago when that was like the
Hmm.
kill leader in Tier D.
Yeah. And it's Stravos' favorite mon, so I'm sure this particular award is a special one. So congrats to you, sir. And moving on to the best Tier E mon, one of my favorite awards every season. Tier E mons are often just forgotten about in most leagues. That's one of the reasons the ASL structure is the way that it is, in order to force coaches to be more creative, more inventive, and to focus mons that generally don't get the love. So I am happy to highlight a list of mons that all have a positive differential. All were tier E, so they're all drafted toward the back in the draft, and 4 mons with 6 kills or higher is so impressive. And I just don't know that you would see these types of performances from these particular mons in any other league or any other format. Really exciting. I love seeing this award. I love this slide. So congrats to Lille, myself, Ian, and TCP for all having nominees. And the winner was Quillfish, 9-3 plus 6. Similar to the way that Dravos used Blaziken, Ian intentionally built teams to feature Quillfish. He built rosters that would put Quillfish in a position to be successful. And it was. A tier E mon getting a 9-3 plus 6 is draft capital doubled or tripled in return. You couldn't be happier with that. And I don't know off the top of my head, I'm just guessing, but I would venture to guess that this is one of the highest, if not the highest, total kills for a tier E mon in the history of the league.
Yeah, I will say it's probably going to be up there, and I don't think I'm going to forget Quillfish anytime soon. When it got a lot of new move pool buffs this generation, things like Swords Dance, Throat Chop, Liquidation it had, but never really got to use in the offensive sense. And Ian was just ready for that. And I know he kind of did a similar thing to Dravos, except main difference is Ian was willing to make those trades to just completely change up his team. Added the Pelipper for rain support, and he got two Swords Dance sweeps off of Quillfish. I think one of them was outside of rain without needing the Swift Swim. It was cool to see. It was just a really fun. They're both really fun games to watch. If you haven't seen them, go check out the doc and just look in the week by week stats for where Quillfish is like positive differential. I see one of them is actually week 10. Quillfish is 5-0 in that game. So super super fun seeing that, and can't wait for more Tyrese in the future.
Yeah, that I was gonna mention that Quillfish kind of had I think two kind of bigger games, and after the first one, you're kind of just like, oh wow, it's kind of cool. He's getting a nice sweep with a tier E mon, and it got some hype, and then he was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it again, and it it was good that he was able to do that more than once and show that this thing is really viable.
Definitely so. And on to kind of the marquee categories. So, best offensive mon. Peach, what do you got?
Well, it's not what I got. It's what all these other coaches got because they didn't get nominated for shit. So, best offensive mon, we have nominated Infernate from Malone's team, Tapu Koko from Lille's team, Weavile from Ilkid's team, and Zera Aura from Shadow's team. And our winner is Weavile. I don't know what you were thinking looking at that differential if you bought anything else. Apparently, there's a couple people who bought something else, but this Mon just like it got triple axle. That one move completely just changed the game for it. It got heavy duty boots now in the new generation as well, so it doesn't have to worry about rocks. And it honestly never really was missing that life orb that we're so used to seeing, or that choice band. Like sometimes it would have a different item, but it was mostly boots the whole season. And I remember in particular, like my team not being the best team, like I was kind of relying on Mimikyu to beat it. Triple Axel just goes right through that disguise, ate right through Yachi Berry. It didn't matter. It didn't care.
Yeah, Weavile's definitely a pain in the ass to prep for, and all I really have is Skarmory, so I had a similar. Although Skarmory can handle it well, it's still like you have one thing and that's about it.
Yeah,
Ilkid was really able to use this mod to the best of his potential.
I completely agree, and that's really what it comes down to is just the way he used it. He put it in situations to be successful. He didn't bring it in to take risky damages. He brought it in safely, allowed it to click big buttons, and it did big damage. You've heard me say over and over and over again on this channel, these videos, when you draft top tier threats, you gotta let them click buttons, and this is exactly what we're talking about with IL Kit bringing Weavile in situations to be successful and just clicking big buttons. I mean, the mod doesn't need your help. It speaks for itself. Put it out there. Click the buttons. A plus 20 differential is good for most teams at the end of the season. Plus 20 differential for a Weaviles. That's a good day. That's a good day. And Malone for best defensive mod.
Yeah, moving to the best defensive mods, we have another good category. First up, we have Corviknight from probably one of the standout defensive mods from TCP's Epic Stall team. Went 9-5 plus 4. And then Ferrothorn nominated from Ilkid's team with another great defensive season. Latias as well from Lile's team kind of shows how good it was in that regard, especially due to or not due to, but like thanks to what Peach was talking about earlier with some of those sets that Lilith had. And then lastly we have Zapdos. Why did I say Zapdos? I have no idea. From Dravos' team, which obviously put in a lot of work this season. And then the winner of this one is going to be by a close margin. We have Zapdos taking this one, and Zapdos was definitely one of the standout mons that really was a big part of Dravos' season and his comeback, and it shows especially defensively, although it did well offensively as well. It was definitely a closer. Keep saying definitely. It was a lot closer of a vote because we have a lot of good options, but I think Zapdos is definitely a great winner.
Yeah, I want to go back and count the number of definitely's that just happened, and I feel like it's going to be relatively high.
It's like 4.
I'll leave that to TCP's meme video.
The thing I'll say about Zapdos is I think we would all agree Zapdos was probably at least a top 10 defensive mon in format, and then they gave it boots. So good job, Dravos, man. Great draft pick, and you used it very effectively. Not just as a wall, but a wall that could inflict pain. So congrats to you, my friend.
It can inflict pain and that yellow color. I mean, I don't, I can't remember any games where static really came off and played a major role, but it's always the threat of just that like 30% chance to just like lose half your speed or just do nothing for the turn. Makes it really scary. One thing I do want to point out, Zapdos' differential is a little inflated because of a forfeit Dravos had, where it was just on the field, so all the remaining kills went to it. So, but in but without that, it would be like 12-6 or 11-6. +5 for a defensive mon is really, really solid. And it was never really ran like hyper offensively at all this season. Another thing that's kind of like funny I want to point out is Corviknight coming very close second to Zapdos. I think only like 1 or 2 votes off, really. And TCP was like upset when he saw this on the nomination. He said, "I'm not voting for Corviknight. Nobody should vote for Corviknight." But Corviknight's apparently spelled wrong too. Great, but but yeah, people thought Corviknight. I did really solid for TCP's team. So
All right.
moving on. Is it me or
Sure. It is now. Best overall mon.
okay? All right. Best overall mon. We have Infernape right here for Malone's team. Tapu Fini from Sammy's team. Tapu Koko from Lile's team, and Zapdos from Dravos's team. And the winner of that category is Infernape from Malone with half the votes. Infernape, again, it was just kind of there like almost every game. Just really like coming in, taking a kill, getting out with U-turn. Even took hits in some games that like you look at Infernape, you just think it's a frail mon, but it did end up just like being able to be that mon that just came in on resisted hits quite nicely. But for the most part, really just being that sweeper that Malone needed to close out some games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
step in before Malone because he is the award winner, so I'll let him have the closing thoughts on Infernape. But the thing that I'll say is just congrats to these other 4 mons or the other 3 mons
Mhm.
that got votes
Yeah.
here. Feeny was unbelievable this season. Coco was good. Zapdos was good, but this was by far the mon that deserved the MVP award. Probably the most coveted award of the whole show. So congrats to Infernape, congrats to Malone, and now you may speak on your closing thoughts there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks again for the award, and shout out really quick to Weavile again, because really the main reason that it's not even nominated is just because it was such a lock for best offensive mon. And we like to distribute the awards. So, but yes, thank you.
Absolutely. And then Malone for 7th mon of the year.
Seventh mon of the year, we have some great nominees again. I think I've said that every single time I introduce an award.
I mean, that
Starting off,
is
we
the
have
point of the
Entei.
show, right?
Yeah. So we have Entei from TCP's team, Guzzlord for Static, Haxorus from Dravos' team, and Honchkrow from Dirty Logic's team. And is the winner slide here?
It shows everyone is here from Smash before it shows the winners.
Yeah, they've seen it. And now your award slide.
Wait, I genuinely can't see it.
No,
So
it's the slide you're on.
the 7th mon of
I'm
the
so
year.
dumb. I forgot. I'm so dumb. Guys, I got this. I got this.
I made the slide,
The
so
winner
don't
of
blame
the
him.
award is everyone.
Yep. Yeah.
Just great seasons from all of them.
Yeah, they all got the exact same number of votes. They all performed extremely well. They all played really well for all of their coaches, and all 4 will get a Hall of Fame entry. So congrats to each one of those
Big.
coaches. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is Dirty Logic's first ever Hall of Fame entry. So special congrats to you, my friend.
Yeah, I think this is also the first time in award ASL history where we have had like completely split vote across all the nominees. So that's
Yeah.
also really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Just exciting. Exciting. For those that don't know, 7th mon of the year, I believe, is 6 games or less. So it's kind of like you're coming off the bench mon, if you will, and a lot of great performances. The stats don't really tell the tale of the influence some of these mons had in their games. So well deserved, but very well split award for the community. Best free agent pickup, we had a couple of nominees: Pharaoh Seed, Gigalith, Megadiancy, and Terrakion. Very different stat distributions, but all influential in their matches in different ways. And the winner of that was Terrakion for TG with a 13-9 split. Won the vote, but not by a wide margin. Congratulations to TG and to those who also received votes.
Yeah. When you see a mon like Terrakion or like Mega Diancie on like best free agent pickup, like you you kind of like take a step back and wonder like why was that even like left in the free agent pool? But something's got to be left, and you know TG, like props to him. He just kind of noticed this mon. I believe this was a draft day pickup too. He just noticed this mon, just kind of chilling there, wanted to change up his team a little bit, and got a lot of mileage out of it.
Yeah, not much else to say besides what you said, and Gigalith with a close second, also really really great pickup there from Il Kid.
All right, Peach for Gimmick of the Year.
All right, cool. So Gimmick of the Year, probably my favorite category, if not for the Tier E category. Uh,
Is it
First off,
preseason though?
maybe. So first off, from TCP's team, we had a power swap, nasty plot, Grimmsnarl, and I'm just gonna give a little background on each one. This Grimmsnarl was meant to counter a Manaphy. It didn't actually really end up working out for TCP, and then Manaphy ended up just tail glowing again after Grimmsnarl stole its tail glow and then killing it, which was kind of anticlimactic but pretty funny. Uh, Second up, we have Belly Drum, Slow Oglar, Priority Sweeping with quick Draw and Quick Claw from Static's team. I have some feelings about that one, but I couldn't not nominate it after how it just completely decimated my team. And then the last nomination we have is from Malone, a Magnet Rise Mega Manetric that went 1v1 against Rest Anaconda and really all of Dravos' team that he brought that week. It stayed in for Lord knows how many turns. It was like 20 turns because you had a lightning rod boost and you were just clicking flamethrower and like thunderbolt. Like, and he was switching, he was getting rest with the shed skin, and you were just doing just enough damage where if you didn't have the lightning rod boost, like Sandaconda would have beaten Minetric eventually, but it didn't happen. You had enough magnet rises, you were stalling him out of rest, and Dravos at some point just had to like pivot around. I don't even remember how it all went down, but you stood your ground and you got rewarded for it that game. But I mean, anyone looking at this could tell like the winner, it's gonna be that quick draw slow bro. There's a couple screenshots from the game here that are gonna go up on screen. Didn't actually win by as large of a margin as I would have thought, but you see that Mon get quick draw and quick claw 4 turns in a row, even against the poor Pharisee that wasn't gonna outspeed it anyway. It was something to see. It was funny to watch, and I'll say firsthand, it was very frustrating to play against.
Yeah, it just from an outside perspective, this award was kind of a lock for me. And if there's anyone that you go into his season expecting to win this award, it's probably Static.
Yeah, he is a perennial nominee for most creative coach, and Galarian Slowbro is kind of the mon that you would expect him to want to get a hold of and try to create some shenanigans with. So, congrats on a much anticipated award, and um, I'm surprised the margins are as close as they are. I figured this would be a landslide, and it was in large part, but I would have thought a 70-80% victory for sure. But congrats
Mm-hmm.
to you, my friend. And congrats to our season 12 champion, TCP, winning against Malone in a pretty close contest yesterday. He has had a nice season, man. Honestly, his roster offered him a lot of opportunities. He could run a lot of his mons, defensive and offensive. He had a nice season. It wasn't his best season, quite frankly, but 10 wins is always a target. You know, you're always hoping for that double digit. And he made it to the playoffs. He beat me. He beat Malone. And then who did he beat the first week? He beat Lille, wasn't it?
Il Kid,
Ilkid. Okay. So Ilkid,
I think.
me, and Malone. That's a tough road. It's not like he got there by accident. So congrats to you, Sammy, on a nice season.
Dravos.
He
It
beat
was
Dravos,
Dravos.
yeah.
It was Dravos.
Either way, he beat somebody in the playoffs. Good for you, brother. But congrats, man. We're all happy for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm sure like there's a lot of people here who well, let's face it, pretty much everyone except TCP was gunning for Malone to win that finals. And, TCP had the stall team. Like, it came together. He's a really top notch player, probably best draft player, like, I know personally. And, you can't knock him. And one thing, too, to note is he built his team around Stack Attacka, another tier demon. that I found out after doing like season stats and everything, he never had a loss like each game he brought it. It was 100% win rate for him there. So pretty cool to see. Another thing I know he mentioned to me on draft day or maybe beforehand, because we usually like to like share strats a little bit, is that he noted that Mega Venusaur and Skarmory together won a season. Mega Venusaur and Celesteela together won a season. It's time for Corviknight, the last steel flying type, to win a season with Mega Venusaur. So, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean it's TCP. What do you really expect? Just consistent every year. So, and a well-deserved win. Another great playoff run.
Definitely. And I will just say as well, congrats to all of the other playoff competitors. The ASL's been around for a long time. We've had a lot of seasons, but if you compared the number of coaches versus the number of people with playoff wins, it's a very, very short list of people that have playoff wins in the history of the ASL. To get to the finals is an even shorter list, and to even win one is elite, elite status. And TCP, there's actually only 2 coaches in the history of the ASL that have multiple finals wins, and TCP has twice as many finals wins as the next runner-up. So, congrats to TCP, continuing to perform well. And now Malone, congrats to you. You have earned yourself a spot in the history books with a playoff win in the ASL and a finals appearance. So I think that'll make you better. I think it'll serve you well in the future. It is very hard to do. People have no idea. It is very hard to be consistently good and to consistently win playoff games is near impossible at this level of competition. So just cap tip to everybody and congratulations. Closing thoughts,
Yeah,
Peach.
Congrats to Malone, of course. Definitely, again, like a rocket, just shooting up like from the bottom to the top. Really cool to see. I had a lot of fun this season. I'm really excited for next season with all the tier changes and new mons being allowed, and of course, like new things we're getting from Crown Tundra update that weren't allowed this season, and hopefully not another stall team from TCP.
True. Wish everyone the best of the luck. Best of luck in the off season and season 13, and that's about it.
Well, that's season 12. So we're done. History books are being closed for the night, and we'll see you at season 13. I don't know what our content schedule will look like. I'm hoping to do something for you in season 13 that's a little more consistent, but it just depends on the way life works out. But season 13 is a whole different ball game. We've allowed in 7 previously banned mons that are much more powerful than anything else we had in the past, which caused a lot of great mons to drop tiers. So you're going to see a different style of play, I think, from a lot of coaches in season 13, unlike anything we've seen dating back to probably season 4. It was the last time that we've had these type of mons in our tiering structure. So I hope you come back for that and you look forward to it, and we'll see you then.